What I wanted to ask you is, how does one get involved into the product launch game? You hear about, all of these JVs and a lot of people doing launches. How did you stumble upon ending up doing what you were doing when you first entered into the industry?
Well, a lot of it, first of all, is just assuming that you're actually working on stuff. Now, I know it sounds like a bit of an obvious thing to say, but I say that because a lot of people getting into kind of marketing, internet marketing, even a lot of people that have been around for a while, there's a difference between doing stuff and actually doing stuff. A lot of people think by spending time on forums and buying courses or doing this or doing that, and once again, even intermediates that have been in it for a while, um, they think by doing that they're actually building their business or kind of making a foothold in the marketing space, but they're not. So for me, I was actually doing stuff. I was building sites. I was trying a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't have a lot of focus in the beginning, as most people don't. So I was kind of really trying to find my way. So the way I kind of stumbled upon getting into the product launch space was by doing stuff. But just a few people around me, a lot of people started to realize I knew a little bit about certain things,
Hmm.
and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So the second thing that happened that led on to that was going out to events.
Oh, wow.
I went to an event in London, and it was a pitch fest. Like the infamous pitch fests.
Yeah, yeah.
So at that time, I was just going out to network, and like they say, most of the success is actually turning up.
Of
It's
course, of
actually
course.
it's
That's the
actually just
same
being
thing.
there.
Same thing as going to the gym.
Yeah, yeah. So you're not going to get your physique sitting at home in your
Yep,
armchair.
yep,
So
yep.
it's kind of getting out there. So as I got out to the event, I met one guy, and I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Another guy was doing a product launch. At that time, scarily, I didn't know who the guy was, but it turns out he was quite an established guy in that space in ClickBank, and he was doing a product launch. And cut a long story short, he was literally on the verge of a launch. Like I think he was like 2 weeks away,
Okay.
and at that time, these guys were doing consistently like 6, 7 figure launches, and his outsourcer had bailed out on him. Okay, so they had a dispute with their development company, and the training they were going to be releasing, the developer held on to that and wouldn't give it to this guy. So basically, 2 weeks to go for a big launch, he had no product. And so another guy mentioned that, look, Zed knows quite a bit about this particular topic. At that time, it was Facebook. Maybe he can help you out and put something together. And I was put on the spot, but do you know, like what Tony Robbins says, where in those moments of indecision, your destiny is changed.
Yep.
Meaning that when you're put on the spot with something, you've got to make a decision that could practically change your life. So at that time, my kind of fears kick in. Well, look, I haven't got a clue about this. I'm 4 months into internet marketing from scratch. Like, what the hell am I going to do? And I thought, hey, what the hell can go wrong? So I said, hey, look, I can help you put something together, thinking that I'm just going to advise him. And fast forward, I ended up creating the whole product
Wow.
for this guy. I didn't have a clue about how to create a product, so the guy kind of quickly spent a day with me. And this is where I noticed one of the biggest lessons I learned in the beginning, and that was there's a big difference between what's taught in internet marketing and what actual internet marketers do. Because up until then, I studied a little bit of material about how to create products, and they were kind of like discussing various things. But actually working with someone who's kind of a seasoned veteran, all of a sudden he was breaking down a completely different way about how you create a product, and it completely changed my mindset. So I created that product, and that product, for this particular individual, ended up doing really, really well. It was a 7 figure launch for this guy, and then what it turned out is I ended up creating the products for the whole funnel that he put out, and that was unexpected. And all of this happened like literally within a week. So I went from kind of being unknown to creating a product for the guy that ended up doing like a 7 figure launch. So that's how I personally entered.
And it all just happened by just wanting to attend an event.
Yeah, just by
And
attending an event.
what triggered you to actually think, hey, let me go and just check this event out? How did you come across it?
Well, the thing was at that time, I mean, now in the UK, this is what 2013. They've been burnt out a lot of these events, but at that time they were kind of like the in thing.
Yeah.
And the one thing I knew, I've got this thing, and this is a common trait with most entrepreneurs, is we're hungry for knowledge.
Yeah.
We're just hungry for learning. So for me, turning up at this event, for me, it was just a way of learning. So my initial motives for going down was to learn. You've got all these speakers on stage, coming from all over the world, mostly from the States. And obviously being in the UK, we're sometimes a little bit cut off from what's happening. So kind of going here, for me, it was this desire to learn and then subsequently connect And one of the other biggest lessons I learned very, very quickly, and that is when you go to events like, whatever internet marketing events, obviously you've got a lot of the content inside the seminar rooms, and obviously this was a pitch fest, so it's only kind of little bite-sized sessions of content. But where the real action was in the hotel lobby. So going out to the lobby, the bar area, and when you go there, even to this day, even though I told people, look, that's where the action is. When you go to certain events, like there's no one there, and you've got speakers there that are just hanging around, having a drink, and this is the perfect opportunity to kind of really talk to them,
Yeah.
away from that kind of limelight. So that was my motive, to go there to learn and subsequently connect.
I think you've hit upon some great points on that, especially discussing the hotel lobby, because I've had some massive success in those areas as well. And what about you, Loss? Have you attended a lot of events?